Good morning, everybody. Matthew from Captive Audience Comics here. It is actually a holiday Monday morning here in Canada, so the house is nice and quiet. Everyone else is already it's still in bed. So we got a small box in from CGC on Saturday. I think it's 14 books or something like that. So we're going to quickly go through those and take a look at what we have, how the slabs are. And we have two more boxes on the way back from CGC right now that will hopefully be back later this week. If you, I know we have some customers with books split between multiple orders. So obviously, if you see some of your books in this order, the rest will be coming in, and we will reach out to you when they're all here. But let's get into it. So first, we have a Revival #1 in a 9.8, and the case appears to be in good condition. We did have an issue with the last order where when we got the slab, everything looked fine. And then, I don't know, like 2 weeks later, we were looking at it. The customer came to pick up, and there's a little sliver of acrylic that had come off of the inside edge. It was floating right inside the case. It was between the inner well and the outer case, so it wasn't going to damage the book. But obviously, it didn't look so great. And it must have been loose on an edge and just like fallen off inside, or it was down like in a crease at the bottom where you couldn't see it before, and it moved around. You know, a typical CGC fashion, they're like, "Oh, sorry, yeah, no, we know that's wrong, but we're not going to fix it, and you're past your 1 week period to report any issues." So obviously, we pride ourselves on customer service, so we're sending that back and we're getting that reslabbed for the customer at our expense, even though clearly CGC even admitted that it was a mistake, but they wouldn't fix it. So, you know, CGC is good at picking up the phone when you call them and ask them questions. They're not so great about taking responsibility for mistakes they've caused, which people have said before. Superman Red Sun #1 in a 9.8. That's a really nice it's a really nice square bound book. This, I think, actually could have been a candidate for a 9.9. The square bounds, when they've been kept in really good shape, are really good candidates for higher grades, 9.9s and 10s. Miles Morales #3, which is in the Ultimate Spider-Man 253, if we're doing that weird continuity thing here. But this is the animated movie variant cover, which my kids really enjoyed the animated movie Into the Spider-Verse. They thought it was really cool. So, and a 9.8. Now, I gotta tell you that I've said this before. CGC is allowing for usually like one minor visible flaw in 9.8. This has a super tiny, you won't even be able to see it on camera, but it has a super tiny spine tick, and it's not on the front, it's just on the rounded part of the spine, and it's still still got a 9.8. I do have my estimated grades behind me of what I thought stuff was supposed to be. So this next one, I don't know why I had this at a way lower grade than it came back as, and I think I have to see if I can remember why I had a lower grade. This is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #4 second print variant in a 9.6, so a nice looking copy. I think this had an issue somewhere where there was either there was like a scuff or a line across the book or something on the back, and I wasn't sure if CGC was going to consider it a production error or like you know, like you get cover wear after the fact across a book. And basically it was kind of like a wild card, and obviously they have considered it a production error, and they have not affected the grade on the book. So all of these books or the majority of the books must have also had the same problem. So So that's good news for the customer on this one, because that's obviously a significant difference in that book. Let's see here. My next bubble. Okay. Wolverine Volume 2, number 8, in a 9.8. And again, like, we haven't really had slab issues, like slab damage, with corners or ceiling problems. So it really hasn't been an issue for a while now. We never really had, I mean, we saw a couple of minor banana slabs where there's a little bit of curving inside of the slab, but nothing, nothing like some customers were, we're seeing with those giant curved books inside. Totally Awesome Hulk number 1, hip hop variant. These are still very collectible. People are always in demand for the hip hop variant covers. Not all hip hop variant covers are worth getting graded, but most of them, if they are potential 9.8, are probably worth getting graded. I think there was a couple that weren't, demand wasn't as high as the rest. Now, some of these books are ours. All the books we've gone through so far, except for the Turtles, are our books. And I think the rest of them are going to be customer books. Okay, so, and we'll talk about, if the book was below a 9.8, we'll take a look at the grade that we thought that it was. So, Invincible number 1 in a 9.6. This came back graded higher than we expected. We actually had this book at a 9.2 because of some, I don't even know if you'd be able to see it on the camera, but it probably, my face is going to cause a problem, but there's a little bit of, you can kind of see that white spot. There's a little bit of scuffing on the bottom on that corner, and usually scuffing hits a book a little bit harder. There's a tiny little bit of a mark on, I don't know if this is going to be able to see. Yeah, sorry guys, it's just, there's a little, I'll just describe it, there's a little white mark on the cover, a little tiny white mark where this, past the staple here. Obvious custom cover header at the request of the customer. So that's good. They went a little bit easier on that, which is nice. X-Men 94 in a 4.5. Of course, that is the second appearance of Nightcrawler, Storm, Thunderbird, and Colossus. Okay, now at 4.5, I'm pretty sure we had this one at a 4. It's got significant creasing. It's got long creasing, color breaking creasing, long color breaks all the way up and through here. So we had it at a 4. Plus, there's some pretty, there's some little bit of embedded dirt and staining that's right inside the paper on the back. So a slight bump. Now that's the case where, yeah, we said a 4, 4.5. I always say if the grade is within one grade value, a 4.5 to a 5, or a 9.2 to a 9.4, or a 9.4 to a 9.2, that if it's within one step, then that really comes down to almost a personal preference point of view. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 1, 4th print in a 9.2. And this one, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 1, Oh, actually, this is the one that we had at the lower grade. The other one was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 4, second print. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh, that's weird. I think we just entered one wrong. Yeah, this one here we had at a 9.4 and came back in 9.6. This one here was the one that we had at the lower grade. And it has some pretty, in my opinion, significant flaws. It has a color break. I'll see if I can get the camera to show. Look at that. Look at the length of that color break. I wouldn't call that a color break. I'd call it a crease. And it's got some heavy corner rubbing. It's got another long crease there. It's got staple wear. This is the one where we had this actually at a 6. It's got multiple breaks on the back. Now, maybe they have considered this book to be common for flaws like that. It's kind of a you know, crapshoot sometimes with CGC, trying to figure out what they mean, what they want. But regardless, obviously, I mean, that's a significant boost for the customer on that one. I think this book was the only book that came back at a lower grade than we expected. So we had this book at a 9.8 and it came back at 9.6. So the only book that came back lower. Now, I took a look at the notes on this book, and I can't see it. I think it said there was like a crease back center left or something like that. I think it's going to be hard to tell, but I don't know. I think this book did have a thumb crease on the back that we fixed. Maybe they could see when you shine the light on the side of where a thumb crease was, you can see where the paper kind of crinkles up a little bit. You can see that. Maybe that's what it was. But yeah, this was the only one that came back. Well, 1 grade lower, again, you know, we say if you're within 1 grade, that's almost like personal opinion. Obviously, when you go from a 9.8 to a 9.6, it does have a significant effect on value. This is not, this book's not a super high value book, so it's not gonna make a big difference. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures, number 1, 9.6. And this one we had it at a 9.4. There are some minor staple wear issues. The holes in the staples are worn a little more. It's got a little bit of corner scuffing, rounding on the one corner. And that's, oh yeah, and there's a little bit of a spine tick in the center. So again, I think that is a book that, you know, a 9.6 could have been with those flaws, even with CGC's grading guides. So it was sort of a personal preference point of view. A Venom number 3. This is the first appearance of Null, the classic cover, in a 9.8, of course. And I believe we had this at a 9.6. So I'm sure it has one tiny flaw on it somewhere that you can see. Maybe it's just that rounded, slightly rounded corner. But again, we're starting to see that more consistently, where you can have a single visual flaw in that. ASM 300 in an 8.5 with custom Spider-Man logo. Now this one, this one actually we had it at a 9. We had this one at a 9. Now, again, I took a look at the graders notes, and basically with what they had in the graders notes, it was a reasonable difference, and it really came down to how harshly they were grading the the color break on the corners. I'll see if I can get the camera to see it. But right there, see that color break? Right there, that color break increase. Normally when we see a little color break increase across the corner, it's usually brings them in at a 9. This one's a little more of an angle, so the crease is actually a little bit longer, and they hit that at 8.5. Has some other minor issues, a little corner corner buffing where the corner's rounded and worn. So it's unfortunate. I mean, it would have been nice if it came back at the 9, but I mean, an 8.5, based on what their notes say, is accurate. It does have a weird. It's not a scuff. I don't even know if you guys will be able to see it on camera, but see this little marking in here? It's almost like a little bit of like something. It's on the inside. It's on the inner well. It's not on the outside of the slab. Luckily, it's minor, and it's on the back, so it's not gonna affect anything. But little things like that, obviously, you know, you get a slab graded, you have a potentially expensive book. It's like, can't you like wipe down a acrylic case or an inner well before you seal it? And then we have a Incredible Hulk 340 in a 9.4 with the custom Wolverine logo, and this one. Yeah, we had this one at a 9.4. It has some I think it had a minor color break. It had I think it had a little finger bend or something that we had to fix as well. It's funny, this slab feels like it's got a little bit of a, so this slab is bent a bit inside the inner well, not a lot, but enough that it's not causing any color breaks, but it's causing a little bit of a it's bent this way a little bit, and it's causing a little bit of a ripple on the spine edge. It's not causing any color breaks, so or any creasing, so it's not going to have any effect. I don't even know if you guys are going to be able to see it. Probably not. It's going to be maybe a little bit. It's going to be hard to tell. This customer has multiple books of this particular book. First one came back at a 9.8. Obviously this one was a 9.4. I think the third one is on the way back now. I did take a peek, and I will say the customer's going to be he's going to be happy with that one. So we initially discussed whether or not sending them all at once would be the way to go. There's a divot, and there's a little tiny divot in the front of this book. I wonder if they got something in there when they were working on it. Maybe that's, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it. It's like a little tiny round compression in there that we would have, wasn't in there when we sent it. So who knows? It's hard to say, but we talked about whether we wanted to send them all in one shot, or we wanted to sort of break them up and send like one per order with other books, and we've decided to send one per order to prevent the whole issue where CGC compares one copy to the other within the same submission. Sometimes you want to do that. You know, if you've got one book that's a little bit worse and the rest look better, you want to do that, because then they're going to be like, oh, well, these are all kind of 9.6, 9.8 contenders. Oh, this one book is a little bit worse, so it's a 9.6 and the rest are 9.8s. Problem is, it could go the other way. If you had some minor flaws, you could end up with one 9.8 and a whole bunch of 9.6s. So we've opted to send them in separately, separate orders, so that they won't be compared to each other when they get graded. No proof one way or the other whether or not that's helpful or not. It was just a sort of personal preference of the client. So that's everything out of this order. So if you saw something that was yours, we'll send you a note. The customer who's most of these books are for, not all their books are back yet. So obviously we'll hold these and we will wait until the rest of your books get back. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Ciao.